Welcome everyone. In today's lecture, we're going to start a new chapter which is in 12th NCERT textbook, chapter number 12. It is mineral nutrition, which comes in unit number 4, plant physiology. Now, what are we going to study in this chapter? The title of the chapter itself tells it is mineral nutrition. What is nutrition? Nutrition means like it is uptake of nutrients, right? In nutrition, we'll try to understand the significance of nutrients. What are nutrients? What are their roles? If we don't take it, what deficiencies do we exhibit? If we take it more, what toxic symptoms do we exhibit? So, what are the basic needs of all living organisms? Tell me. What's the basic need? Let it be a plant or an animal or a microorganism. Any living organism, the basic need is essentially the same, right? They need food to grow and to develop, right? Let us start the chapter. Let us start writing down. Now, the basic need of all living organisms. NCERT says the basic need of all living organisms is essentially the same. It is essentially the same. With this, the NCERT has started the chapter. NCERT says that the basic need of all living organism, it is the same. What do you mean by same? Means we require nutrients, right? For our growth, for our development and for our survival, we require nutrients. Means we require certain molecules. What are they? So, all of us will require, they require macromolecules. All of us require macromolecules like what? What are the nutrients do we require? Carbohydrates means sugars do we require? Yes. And proteins, for building the body, we require proteins. Fats, as a reserve source of energy, we require fats. And minerals are again important for us. And water is a hydrated body, right? Without water, no plant, no animal, no organism can survive. So we can tell there are 5 macronutrients what all the living organisms need. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, minerals and water are required for growth and development. So they require macromolecules like, so what are they? Carbohydrates means sugars, followed by proteins, followed by fats, and in minute concentrations they require vitamins and minerals. Why do they require all these 5 components? For growth and development. For growth and development. Right, children? This is what the NCERT says. This is the first point and this is the second point, right? Now, we are talking about plant physiology. In plant physiology, we need to talk everything in terms of plant metabolism, plant nutrition, right? Now, plants, how are we different from plants? Plants are autotrophs, right? Autotrophs means they can manufacture their own food, right? Means they can prepare their own sugars by taking the sunlight, right? So plants are autotrophs, means they can manufacture their food by a process called photosynthesis. But for inorganic nutrients, where do they depend? They depend on the soil and the atmosphere for inorganic nutrients. Let us write down. Since this chapter comes in plant physiology, we are telling plants are autotrophs. Since plants are autotrophs, they can manufacture their food. They can prepare their food. Amma, what is food? Sugar. Sugar is organica, inorganica, organic material, organic nutrient. Plant can manufacture its own organic nutrients by a process called photosynthesis. By a process. What is the process called? Photosynthesis. Right? Organic nutrients you need not supply to the plant. Plant can prepare on its own by a mechanism called photosynthesis. Now, what plant needs is inorganic nutrients. Inorganic means mineral nutrients. Now, plants depend on the soil and atmosphere. Plants depend on soil. It depends on soil and atmosphere. It depends on soil and atmosphere for inorganic nutrients. Amma, what do you mean by inorganic nutrients? Minerals and salts. Organic nutrients plant can prepare on its own by a process called photosynthesis. But for inorganic nutrients, plants depend in the soil. It depends on the atmosphere. Understood? And in this chapter, we are not going to study about photosynthesis, how it will prepare the food. We are going to study only about the mineral nutritions. What are the minerals plant will absorb from the atmosphere? What are the minerals what plant will absorb from the soil? What are their roles? We are going to study here. Understood, children? In this chapter, we are going to study organic nutrition or inorganic nutrition. Inorganic nutrition. What are inorganic elements? Mineral elements, right? So, let us tell in this chapter, we will study mineral nutrition. What are we studying? We are studying mineral nutrition of plants. What are we studying here? We are studying mineral nutrition of plants, and we will try to tell the methods. What are the methods with which we have identified what are essential elements, what are non-essential elements. Now, you know how many elements are there all throughout? 105 elements are there. Out of 105 elements, plant needs all 105 elements? No, right? Certainly not. It requires only very few elements which help in its growth, which helps in its development. So, means you need to establish essentiality. You need to identify the essential elements which are required for growth and development. So, we will try to study and determine. We'll try to study and determine. What shall we study and what shall we determine? The methods to identify essential elements, right? The methods to identify essential elements. Now, what are the elements which are required for the plant? We need to pick them out. We need to identify. So, by using some methods, we will try to identify what are the essential elements required for the growth and development. Required for growth and development. We will find out. We'll find out using these techniques. We'll find out. First, we are doing only the introductory part. Then we need to, on what basis you have identified that they are essential elements. What's the criteria? That also you need to tell. That comes under criteria of essentiality. We need to define criteria of essentiality. Now, what is the criteria for writing the NEET examination? So, criteria for writing the NEET examination is you should be having physics, chemistry, biology as your core subjects, and you should cross with 50% of marks in your boards. That is criteria. Do you know that? So, we need to tell which are essential elements which are required for growth and development. On what points you told that these are essential elements. What is the criteria you have chosen? That also we need to tell. And we need to tell the role of essential elements. What is their role? We need to tell the role of essential elements. Means elements are required. It helps in chlorophyll formation and it helps in cell wall formation. We need to tell what is their role, and if you don't provide it, what deficiency symptoms plant will show also. Role of essential elements we need to tell. Deficiency symptoms we need to tell. So roles we need to tell, deficiency symptoms we need to tell, and how are plants absorbing the minerals, their mechanisms of absorptions. Most of the minerals are absorbed by the plant by active transport. Some elements are absorbed by the plant through passive transport. So we need to define their mechanism of absorption also. Their mechanism of absorption. Children, what I explained so far is there in the first two paras of the starting of the chapter, right? This comes under introduction. Let us see a quick recap. What are we trying to understand in this board? We started today with a new chapter. It comes in plant physiology, chapter number 12. It's called mineral nutrition, right? It's called mineral nutrition. Now, what is the basic need for a living organism means? It's a common thing. What is that common thing? All of us needs proteins, carbohydrates, fats, water, mineral for our growth and for the development, right? Now, when we come to plants, how are we different from plants means? Plants are autotrophs. We are heterotrophs. We cannot prepare our food. We depend on autotrophs for our food, but not the case with the plant. Plants are autotrophs, means they can manufacture their food. Food means sugar. What is that sugar? Organica, inorganic element. It is an organic material. Organic material it can manufacture by a process called photosynthesis. Now, inorganic elements also it needs, right? Minerals also it needs, right? From where will the plant get the mineral is a question now. Now, the answer is plants gets minerals from the soil and the atmosphere. Plant will take minerals from the soil and the atmosphere, and we call them as mineral nutrients, minerals and salts. And in this chapter, we are going to talk about the mineral nutrients. Okay. So in this chapter, we will study mineral nutrition of plants, and we will study what are the methods through which we can identify that these are essential elements which are required for growth and development. That is our first point. And we will tell criteria of essentiality, on what basis you have identified and telling that these are essential elements. I'll tell in the next class that there are 17 essential elements. What is the criteria? Okay, on what basis you told that? That is called criteria of essentiality, I told. So what is the criteria for writing the NEET examination? Means having physics, chemistry and biology as your core subject. That is a criteria. And we should pass with 50% of your board marks. That is the second criteria. Like role of essential elements, what roles do they do, what are their functions, and if you don't give them, what deficiency symptoms do the plant will exhibit, and how are they absorbed from the soil, by active transporter, passive transporter. All this we are going to see in this chapter. Take a screenshot. We will continue. Right, children, can I rub this? Good. Now let's start the chapter. In NCERT, in 12.1, what is that topic? In NCERT 12.1, what is the first topic? Just check. Now, let's start with 12.1, methods to study mineral requirements of plants. So, it is 12.1, methods to study mineral requirements in plants. So this is our first topic in NCERT, methods to study mineral requirements in plants. What are the methods through which we came to know that these are the minerals which are required for the plant? Understood the side heading, ma? What are the methods which scientists have employed to find out that plants require these minerals for their nutrition, right? Who is that scientist? So many scientists worked on different techniques, but one scientist has came out with a very advanced technique which is accepted, which is still in use. So in which year it is? It is in the year 1860. What is his name? Right? Julius von Sachs. Now, what is the name of the scientist? His name is, right, 1 minute, let me change it. It is Julius. So, in 1860, his name is Julian von Sachs. Who is he? He is a prominent German botanist. That also they will ask us. In 1860, his name is Julius von Sachs. Who is he? He is a prominent German botanist. He is a prominent German botanist. Now, what technique did he develop? He developed a technique. He told that for the first time, he told that plants could be grown to maturity, not just growing like this 1 or 2 days. Plants could be grown to their maturity in a defined nutrient solution in complete absence of water, soil, right? So, he developed a technique. What is the technique called? Hydroponics. Julius von Sachs in 1860, he developed a technique called hydroponics. What is hydroponics? Growing the plants till their maturity in complete absence of soil in a defined nutrient solution is called as hydroponics. Means simply you can tell it is soilless culture of plants. What is hydroponics? It is called soilless culture of plants, right? If I ask you to grow a plant inside the room, so then you will be searching like I should bring one pot, I should add mud to that, then I'll fix a plant. So he is a person who told you can grow the plant without soil. So then without soil you're growing the plant. Then why are the plants needing soil? Why do they want soil? Means in the soil minerals are there, right? Why do plant needs soil? Because it takes minerals from the soil and it gives anchorage also. Soil gives anchorage also. Suppose for example, so this is a pot. In the pot, what we have done? We did not add soil here. We added a defined nutrient solution. We added a nutrient solution. Means defined nutrient solution means sodium concentration, how much nitrogen concentration, calcium concentration, magnesium concentration, iron concentration to this percentages you dissolve and you have prepared a nutrient solution. In this nutrient solution, so you are keeping a lid and you are fixing a plant. Now plant, when you are fixing it, it should not go this way. So you are using stoppers here or cotton plugs to fix the plant perfect. So if it is soil, you can nicely dip it inside. But in water, it doesn't give that stability. For that reason, we are using cotton plugs, which will give additional support for the plant to stay stiff. So I am telling why plant needs soil. One for the grip, another one through the soil only it takes the minerals. Now that minerals you already dissolved in the water. And for grip, we are using stoppers and cotton plugs. So this is the technique what Julius von Sachs has developed it. And what is the name of the technique? It is called hydroponics. What is hydroponics? Soilless culture of plants, growing plants in absence of soil, right? So it is growing plants in a defined nutrient solution. So hydroponics means growing the plants in a defined nutrient solution to maturity. Till maturity you can grow, permanently you can grow to maturity in complete absence of soil is called as hydroponics. Who developed it? Julius von Sachs has developed this technique. Now after that, so many additional techniques came, like another technique, slight modification of hydroponics is there, which is called aeroponics. Right? In hydroponics, you are keeping the plant inside the nutrient solution. The roots can take the nutrients from the solution, right? Now aeroponics means we will take a thing here and then the plant is kept in this manner These are the roots, right? Here what we are doing is, we are not dipping the roots inside the mineral solution. The mineral solution is at this level only. The defined mineral solution at this level only. But then the mist, you know, the vapors which comes mist, from that mist, the roots will take the minerals. Right? From the air they are taking the minerals in the form of mist. So growing plants in this manner is called aeroponics. Now Julius von Sachs, when he developed hydroponics, then scientists started thinking, are there any other ways also? He got Nobel Prize for this discovery. Then other scientists also want to find out, they also want to get Nobel Prize. They are finding out, they are checking out, are there any other novel techniques, new techniques where we can also grow plants and we can also get Nobel Prize. So like that, scientists worked with aeroponics also. In aeroponics, we will not dip the root inside the nutrient solution, but the minerals will come out in the form of mist, and from there the roots will absorb it. It is called aeroponics. Okay, so but then ultimately what is hydroponics and aeroponic means growing the plant in complete absence of soil. Growing the plant in complete absence of soil. Now this is a typical setup. This is a typical setup of hydroponics. Now in that, we have to take a beaker. In the beaker, we have taken the nutrient solution, what and all the nutrients which are required for the plant growth, in what concentrations they are required. We have taken it, we measured it, and then I told you we need to keep a plate here and cotton plugs for the grip, and 3 things we can see here, 1, 2 and 3. This is a funnel for adding water and nutrients. So we'll mix nutrients in the water and we add. So this is a funnel through which we'll be adding the water also, nutrients also. And here is the plant, and we need to check that the roots are immersed, they're dipped inside the nutrient solution. And we are providing aeration. We are providing aeration through an aeration tube. What is the essential, what is the requirement of air? So in the soil also, in between the soil grains, you know, capillarity will be there. Their air will be trapped. Plant is also a living organism, almost living anaerobic bacteria. All living organisms require air. If you don't give, it will die. Plant or animal, they will die. So since we need to supply air here, through this aeration tube, we will be supplying oxygen. Through this aeration tube, we will be supplying oxygen. And this is a cotton plug which will give the grip. The cotton plug which will give the grip, aeration tube which will supply oxygen. This is a defined nutrient solution through which the plant will take all the minerals what it requires. And this is a funnel through which we add. This is a typical biogas plant. This is a typical hydroponics setup. Then next one, what is this? This is also commercial cultivation of hydroponics. This is an experimental setup. This is commercial cultivation of hydroponics. How do they do it? Now we need to take a tube. We need to take a tube. Now the tube which you have taken, it is vacant, it is empty inside. Now make holes, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 holes we made. And in that holes we kept small logs, wooden logs. So in that we kept one plant, another plant, another plant and another plant. And so the plant is kept in such a manner that the roots will be there inside this tube. The roots are this side, right? They are inside. Now then we will take a tube. We will not take the tube perfect horizontally. We'll keep it in a slightly inclined position. That's what I tried to show you. I kept the tube in a slightly inclined position. And this tube is connected to the reservoir. Where nutrient solution is there. Now this reservoir is having a pump. It will pump nutrient solutions into this tube. Can you see the arrow marks? So this pump is pumping the nutrient solution into this tube, and this tube will add the nutrients here. And in this roots are there, right? So how much ever nutrients roots require, the plant require, will absorb. Whatever the additional excess nutrients are there, since you did not keep it like this, you kept in a slightly inclined manner, all the waste medium again comes and collects in the nutrient solution. Whatever extra is there, it comes and collects in the solution again. Again the pump will pump the nutrients in this manner. So this is a commercial hydroponics setup. Understood, children? This is an experimental setup and this is a commercial setup. So take a screenshot. We will continue. right? Did you understand what is this experiment and what is this experiment and what is this experiment? This is aeroponics and this is typical hydroponic setup, experimental setup, and this is commercial setup. And they will ask you the arrow marks, they will ask what is this and what is this. They will ask, this is reservoir in which the nutrient solution is there, this is a pump which pumps the nutrients through this tube into the main one, and here the plants and roots, how much ever nutrients they want, they will take it and they will release it. Now what is the significance of this hydroponics experiment conducted by Julius von Sachs in the year 1860, right? Now the same scientist, when we are doing photosynthesis also, his name will come. He is the person who told that plants do photosynthesis and they manufacture glucose, and that glucose is stored in chloroplast. Sachs, there also it will come in photosynthesis chapter, where he is the person who told that the end product of photosynthesis is sucrose, or it is glucose, and it is stored inside the chloroplast. Now what is the significance of hydroponics? What is the significance of growing the plants in soilless culture, growing the plants in a defined mineral nutrient solution? Okay, so I told you how many elements are there in the soil. So they are more than, out of 105 elements, we will start in this manner. Out of 105 elements, right, more than 60 elements, more than 60 elements are found in different plants. Altogether, how many elements are there in the periodic table? 105 elements are there. That's what the NCERT says. So out of 105 elements, how many elements are found in most of the plants? Means 60 elements are found. More than 60, they're telling. More than 60 elements are found in most of the plants. Now the question is, okay, 105 are there. Out of that 105, plant is taking 60 elements. Now next question is, all these 60 are required for the plant? All these 60 are required for the plant, or only, I will tell that plant requires only 17 elements. So out of which 17 elements are essential. I told that out of the 60, only 17 elements are essential. How did I came to know that 17 elements are essential? Through hydroponics only I came to know 17 elements are essential, and all remaining elements are non-essential. Means essential element means it is required for the growth and development. If you don't give it, it will show deficiency symptoms. Non-essential element means it is not required for growth and development. So through hydroponics, we can tell like which elements are essential and what are their roles, and if we don't provide them, what are their deficiency symptoms it will show. Now out of 105 elements, so how many elements are found in the plant? 60 elements are found in the plant. All 60 are the required for the plant? No, right? Only 17 elements are essential. Only 17 elements are essential. We came to know by hydroponics only. And their concentrations also we can determine. Their concentrations can be determined. Means should we give it in more concentration? Means is it a macronutrient, or should we give it in less concentration? Is it a micronutrient? Also we can find out by hydroponics. And their functions. What is the function of that element? It helps in chlorophyll formation, it helps in cell wall formation, or it helps in overall growth, their function and their deficiency also we can know. Their function, their deficiency symptoms also we can know. Their deficiency symptoms also we can know. So let us see a setup. Now, what these people have done means, they have taken a bottle. In this, they have taken all 17 essential elements. They have taken all 17 essential elements which are required for growth and development. Then plant will show nice growth. Plant shows Profusive growth, no deficiency manifestation. You can see the leaf, stem and all, they growed nicely. The root and all growed nicely. Now we want to find out what is the role of each element. Then for that you need to take 17 more beakers. This is one beaker, another beaker. Now why are we doing it in hydroponics only? Why can't we do it in soil also? Correct? That should be a doubt for you. Now in beaker you can control, everything is under your control. How much concentration to add, which element to add, which element to remove, you can do it. In soil, can we do that? Is it under our control? No. So criteria of essentiality, which element is essential, what is its function, what's the deficient symptom, you can check it by hydroponics only. Now in all beakers they have given 16 elements only. They have taken 16 elements only. One element is missing. In the first one, nitrogen is missing. In the second one, you can tell phosphate is missing. Third one, potassium is missing. Next one, calcium is missing. Next one, magnesium is missing. In this, so nitrogen is missing. In this, phosphate is missing. In this, potassium is missing. In the calcium is missing. In that, magnesium is missing. Now, what deficiency the plant will exhibit when we don't give it? So, nitrogen is responsible for overall growth and development of a plant. When you don't give nitrogen, then plant will not show this much growth. Its growth gets reduced. So to understand, I'm just drawing 4 leaves only. This much growth I'm not showing. Means its growth got reduced. The first thing. And the younger leaves or the upper margins, the upper leaf will be light green in color, not dark green. It will be light green in color. Whereas the lower leaf will be yellow in color. If nitrogen we don't give, then stunted growth it will show, first one, and the upper leaf will be light green in color and the lower will become yellow in color. So we are understanding what deficiency symptom the plant will show if you don't give nitrogen. You can compare always with the control. Now if we don't give phosphorus, what plant will show? If we don't give phosphorus, again phosphorus is also required for growth and development. So means here also it shows stunted growth only. And the leaves will be dark black in color. They'll not be green at all. So that means when we don't give phosphorus, the leaf turns black. The leaf turns black, dark color. So the growth is reduced, the first point, and the leaves become black. So this is a symptom we came to know the plant will exhibit if we don't give phosphorus. Now let us see what deficiency the plant will show if we don't give potassium. So then what happens if we don't give potassium? Then again, since this is also essential element required, the plant will show stunted growth only. It's not showing this much growth. The margins of the leaf and the tips of the leaf will become yellow. Margin means here. The margins and the tip of the leaf becomes yellow. Shall I write here? The margins and tips of leaf become yellow. When it becomes, when you don't give potassium, the margins and the tips of the leaf will become yellow. That shows potassium deficiency. And if we don't give calcium, what deficiency the plant will show? Actually, calcium is responsible for cell wall formation, right? So then the cell wall is not formed properly. Deformities in the plant shape, leaf shape will be observed in calcium deficiency. So deformities in leaf formation will be observed if we don't give calcium. Now if we don't give magnesium, what happens to the plant? If we don't give magnesium, right? So the leaves will be light green, not dark green. Magnesium is required for chlorophyll formation. So magnesium you did not give. So the leaf will not be green in color. If the leaf is not green in color, photosynthetic rate decreases, then growth rate decreases. Photosynthesis decreases. Photosynthesis decreases. Then growth also decreases. So how important is hydroponics experiment? Through this hydroponic experiment, we came to know that 17 elements are essential for the plant, and we can also check if you don't give nitrogen, what deficiency it will show. If you don't give phosphorus, what deficiency it will show. If you don't give potassium, calcium, magnesium, what deficiencies it can show. And again, we can define their concentrations also. Means, are we supposed to give 1 gram per liter, 2 grams per liter, 10 grams per liter? So their concentrations also can be determined. So we can tell in which concentration the mineral is required by the plant. If the plant requires it in more concentration, then that is a macronutrient. If the plant requires that element in very less concentration, then that is called micronutrient or trace nutrient. Take a screenshot. We will continue. Right? So then we can also tell one more point, that hydroponics is commercially used. It is commercially used for the cultivation of. It is commercially used for the cultivation of tomatoes, seedless cucumber and lettuce. Nowadays also we are using this hydroponics experiment for cultivation of 3 plants, Amma. What are the 3 plants? Tomatoes, then seedless cucumber, and third one is lettuce. Lettuce, cucumber and seedless cucumber and tomatoes are cultivated by hydroponics technique only. Means we are growing the plants in absence of soil only. Understood, children? So any doubts in today's class? What did we discuss? We discussed about mineral nutrition, and we are discussing about what is hydroponics, what are the advantages of hydroponics. In the next lecture, we'll talk about the essential elements and the criteria of essentiality. Any doubts? Post them in the comment box. Happy to hear from you. And if you like the content, like, share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.